So, the former Martin star, Tichina Arnold, has a message for Black women. And yeah, I want to talk about that this morning. I think it was a really good topic. Let's talk about it.
It's Black Lounge Entertainment, and the time is right with T-Pre.
So, grand rising, everybody. I hope everybody is doing as great as me today. I do have some time this morning that I can talk to you guys and just kind of plug in with the Black Loungers and make sure that you guys are doing well. I hope everybody enjoyed the podcast show last night. You guys will see much more of that in the future. But we are, still going to be doing things on our own channels as well. So hopefully you guys like that and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Anyway, let's get into this Tichina Arnold situation going on with her. Now, allegedly or apparently, Tichina Arnold has taken to social media and decided to say that, maybe perhaps, and I'm just quoting some of her words, I'm paraphrasing. She said that we need to find ways as Black women to help not demasculating Black men. Okay, so in other words, we need to find ways to uplift Black men and not be the ones contributing to the demasculation of Black men. Now, she's gotten quite a bit of and a mixture of controversial comments from that. As some people agree with her and some don't. I actually disagree with one thing, but I actually agree with the actual statement itself. Do I think that Tichina could have done more in her career to help along with that? Yes, I do. But I also think, thinking back to how things were when Tichina was on Martin's show, for instance, I don't know if she would have had as much of a voice as she would have today. Okay. And even then, I don't know, even today, I don't know how much her voice would be heard in Hollywood. But I do think that she has a little bit more power now because she's been in the game for some time. So I think her speaking up now at this time is probably better than she would have done if she had tried this, 20 or 25 years ago or even 30 years ago. I think things would have been completely different then. And she would have been met with a different response back then. Number one, she probably would not have gone nearly as far as she did. And she probably would never have even been a major star on the show if she had been speaking like that back in the day, which a lot of people, Black actors and actresses tended not to speak up so much about the rights of Black people back then because they were kind of trying to make the bag as opposed to speaking up and trying to create changes. So I think that's where she's meeting the heat. Okay, there's people who are like, well, Tichina, you should have done more back then if you felt like hey, Black men should be protected more, or Black men shouldn't be demasculated as much. Here's the issue with the demasculation thing. She did star on a show where a man actually dressed as a woman. Martin dressed as Shanae. Everybody remembers that. That was a funny show. It was, everybody had a great time with the show. But I think it is kind of far-fetched if you say that that is just fully demasculating all Black men. Okay. Now, I do think Hollywood does have an agenda behind that. And they definitely have an agenda behind the Black man dressing up as a woman. I don't think it's only Black men, though. I think we only focus on that. I'll give you an example. Mrs. Doubtfire was a white man, okay? And then there's other examples of men who have dressed up in dresses as white men, and so I don't know if it's all, I don't know if it's all just about us as Black people that they're doing this to. I think it's deeper than that. But I do think that I understand where the pushback comes from, because the pushback is coming from the fact that she spent a great deal of time rubbing shoulders in Hollywood with people who could have made those changes. And she didn't do anything about that. Her and many other Black women. So I don't want to jump all over Tichina for that, because I don't think it would be solely on her. And also we have the ability to evolve in life. We have the ability to change the way that we think or the way that we do things. So it's possible that at the time when she was on the set with Martin, that she wasn't thinking that way, or she wasn't as woke, quote unquote, as she is now. So I think that she actually has evolved and decided to change her way of thinking because of that. Now, let me go over one of the, the comments that came out, and this was actually from Jason Black. Shout out to the Black Authority. But he said two things in his comment, replying back to Tichina Arnold. He said, number one, go back to checking each other over anti-Black male behavior. Sisters go harder on each other's hair than they do over hating Black men. And I had to read that statement two or three times before I really understood what he said. So I'm going to read it to you guys again. He said, go back to checking each other over anti-Black male behavior. Sisters go harder on each other's hair than they do over hating Black men. I had to kind of take a step back on that and say, you know what? There very well may be more fighting amongst sisters over our hairstyles and over the texture of our hair and whether we appear Black or not because of the texture of our hairs and so forth, than we actually do over the demasculation of our Black families and our Black men, including our sons, including our grandsons, not just our boyfriends and our husbands, not just our fathers, but Black men as a whole. Okay. I think that's a very poignant subject and topic. And I think that is definitely something to think about. Are we going harder over each other's hair and our hair texture, and we're fighting more over that than anti-Black male behavior? I think it's something to think about. Number two, he said, stop the sick culture of saying, and this is what I kind of disagreed, and I'm giving pushback on. He said, stop the sick culture of saying a government job, government benefits, a dog, a degree, or girlfriends take the place of a man. Hashtag, we are all we got. Okay, so where I give him pushback on that is the sick culture doesn't come from just Black women, okay? Now, some women have been placed in a position to accept a government job, accept government benefits or a dog or a degree or a girlfriend or whatever in place of a Black man, because unfortunately there just have not been enough Black men who have been qualified to be in their lives and to take responsibility for whatever's going on in their lives, whether it's the children, and different things. Sometimes men are put in jail. Sometimes men are just leave. They're not around. There's various reasons why women will accept a job in place of a man, or accept government benefits in place of a man, or a dog, or a degree. So I think it's kind of harsh to just place that on Black women. I think as a whole, as a community, I think we have a responsibility over that. Okay. So if we don't want our Black families on welfare, okay, if we don't want our Black women to go to the government for assistance, then we will need more Black men to step up in that place. You understand what I'm saying? We will need more Black men to take responsibility, which would mean that the same way we are holding women accountable for how we are demasculating Black men is the same way that men need to be holding men accountable. You understand what I'm saying? For how they're treating Black women. Okay. This goes both ways. It can't just be one-sided, like this side here. Oh, Black women, you cannot be on welfare. You can't be taking, government jobs. You can't be taking, high-paying jobs and this, over being with a Black man, or over, being, having the family intact. But you can't just say that and then you don't have a solution. You have to be there. You have to be the breadwinner. You have to be the one that's able to, and it take and then now we got to talk deeper than that. What are we going to do to put us in a position to do so? Because right now, the position that of the Black community and the condition of the Black community, is it really conducive for, oh, everybody's just at home, the man is taking care of everything, the woman is home taking care of the kids, and is it really conducive for that? Number one, we're not living in the Stone Ages anymore, so it is okay for women to go out and work and and support the family and stuff like that just as much as the male is. But is it disproportionately that way because of other, underlying factors such as health and disease? Okay, so this is killing off some fathers who aren't there and aren't able to be there and take care of the family. Is it, drugs and drug infestation in the communities that's keeping people addicted to things and keeping people away from their families physically, mentally, and emotionally? Is it underlying factors here? So I think it's so many underlying factors that are tying into this one issue that we can't just turn around and say, well, Black women, I need you to stop taking government benefits and I need you to stop taking high paying jobs. Because what are Black women left to do if there's no other choice? I don't think, and I don't know, I could be wrong about this, okay? Because I can't speak for every woman in the world. But it would be very difficult for me to believe that if the woman had the ability to make it on her own, to pay her own bills, to take care of her children without the help of $200 or $300 a month from the government, because let's keep it real. Women are not getting that much money in government benefits, okay? It's not life changing, okay, where you can just go out here and live in some mansion with your kids off the government. Like, it's not like that, guys, okay? It's a couple $100 a month, if even that. And you still nowadays, because of laws that are in place, now you got to work. You still got to, you still got to support your family. You can't just sit around on your ass, on your behind for the rest of your life. You actually got to work. You actually got to do some things, okay? Now, there was a time where it wasn't like that, or it wasn't pushed as hard. But now it is, and that's been in place for some years now. So, women still have to go out and work even if they're getting government benefits. But clearly, if I was to say, and if I was to think reasonably, I don't think most women in their reasonable mind would be wanting to just sit around, do nothing for the rest of their lives, and collect $200 a month. And that's all there is to life. These are some pretty low life chicks, if these are the chicks and that's what they're doing, okay? But for most women, I can't say that I believe that that's the case, okay? I believe that they want a vehicle. I believe that they want a couple dollars in their pocket. They want to be able to, not only just pay the rent and get by, but they actually want to wear nice clothes. They want to put nice things on their kids, things like that. So, I think it's deeper to say, oh, stop accepting this. You have to give her a solution. You understand? Like, you have to give her a reason to not accept government benefits, to not accept a higher paying job so that she can take care of the family without you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, these are things that have to be provided. So let's go both ways with that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yes, we do have to stop demasculating Black men. Okay. We have to stop, just coming for Black men all the time and tearing Black men down. But we also have to be honest about what we're actually experiencing and what we're actually facing, because not being honest about things and not putting things on the table to discuss those things is really hurting our community as opposed to helping the community. Okay. If we're not talking about these things, if we're not having conversation, if we're not telling what we need and the things that we need, and then we're not coming together for solutions on this together as Black men and Black women and Black families, then we're going to find ourselves in the same place in 20, 30 years, in 50 years. We're still going to be doing the same shit. I mean, it's just what it is. Or we're going to start waking up and we're going to start having conversations like Tichina opened up, because I think it was a great conversation that she opened up. And we're going to start having these conversations with one another and coming up with solutions. And it starts in our own homes, it spills out into our blocks, and then spills out into eventually into our own neighborhoods, which will eventually connect all communities. And if we have healthy Black people working together in those communities, to striving for the betterment of our communities. That's the only way we're going to be able to do this. It starts, like I said, on a small scale. It sounds like a great big task when you're thinking about, oh, just the Black community as a whole. But there's multiple communities within the Black community. Okay. So it starts within your community. And we have to come with solutions and answers, and not just pointing fingers at each other. What's up, Ray Triggs? I appreciate you being in here. He said, damn, that was a deep comment, but unrelated to Tichina's comment. What about ism? You said, hey, Black Lounge. Hey, Dr. Nikki, I appreciate you coming in here today. And you said, what's good to Ray and Sparkle? Hey, what's going on? I appreciate you coming in today. And you said, good morning to Dr. Nikki. So, guys, I'm not going to be long. I just wanted to speak on that really quick. I thought it was a really great topic with Tichina that she brought up. Again, I do think, maybe she could have done more. It's possible. But at the same time, I'm not really sure if she really had that option back then when Martin first came out and when all of that was going on. You see what I'm saying? Because Black women just did not have a voice. I mean, we definitely were seen, definitely put in the forefront in Hollywood. But to have that open of a voice speaking on Black issues, she would have been railroaded a long time ago. She definitely would have been blackballed. And I can't see her career have gone much further if she did start speaking on Black issues and stuff like that. So, there is a fine time for everything. And also there is a place in life where we are allowed to evolve into, higher selves and into higher beings. And that's okay. And if that's where she's at now, I'm all for it. I think that she's right. But I also think that there's a deeper message that needs to be given and a deeper conversation that needs to be had about the condition of our communities and what we need to do about those conditions in order to improve these types of issues. Because if we're not taking care of the underlying problems, okay, it's like having a broken bone and you don't go and get that bone reset, or you don't go and get a cast or something to keep it in place. If you're not doing something to help the issue, you're only just going to keep furthering, the festering of the disease part of it, and we got to get rid of that. We have to get rid of the underlying issues, okay, of poverty, the underlying issues of sickness and disease, the underlying issues of drug abuse and drug infestation in our communities and stuff like that. These are things that are really plaguing us and continuing to plague us to this day, and why we are having these types of discussions. So hopefully we will continue to have positive discussions like this and move forward in the future with more solutions. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in today. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. And again, be looking out for the Shout Into the Void podcast coming out very soon in the next couple of weeks on all podcasts across the board. Okay. I will talk to you guys later. Peace, guys. Thank you guys for watching.